way. Yes. Oh, look, it's okay. We figured it out with the ID thing now. We had planned a day trip, but it's very foggy in Lisbon this morning. So staying put. Time is speeding up. Weather's all over the place. Welcome to the end of 2025. Good morning. That's what we'll talk about with Veronica. What sort of year she's had. What sort of year she's looking forward to next year. Same with Carl Hyde, of course, in Lisbon. News about Hugh. He is hopefully home tonight. He's already here, Jane, talking about geopolitics. Slight problem for him. He has to be on crutches for 2 months. How am I going to keep him quiet? You're not. Face it. Rope him to the chair. I think that's not a bad idea. Just keep giving him wine. I'm on the wrong mic. Thank goodness we have a T-Duck here to tell us. I think that the microphone is too echoey. If I press this button here. Now, I'm concerned here because I've got... no, not logic. Well spotted there, but I don't think the Rode X is coming through. Let me see if this... or just destroys things. Is that any better there, T-Duck? I'm sure you'll give us some feedback. Pardon the audio pun on that. Give me some feedback on that. Let me know. Streamer X, output device. Maybe that's better now. I'm sure you'll let me know on that. Yes, sounds like a laptop mic. That's why you need to do a sound check. Pete, looks like a beautiful day, sunny and mid-20s around there in central Portugal. Lord and Lady Travanca are back. Are you back in Portugal now? Our kids have always done that. Now we take a packed lunch for them mostly. Loads of stuff you'd normally pay for in Coimbra. It's free over the Christmas season to help tourism. That's fantastic. And yes, the sound is improved. That's good to know as well. Thanks for that, T-Duck there. And yes, it was the same in Alcácer de Sal. Wanted to pay for the merry-go-round for our youngest. No, free on the house. Let's give her a nice round of applause. And let's bring her onto the screen now. Is there space on the screen? Let's take that off for a minute.
Hello.
How are you, Monica? You're in Italy. Buongiorno. Ciao, bella. How's it going? Oh, just got someone looking through my window at me in my underpants here. Sorry about... No one needs to know that, do they, on the cam, but on the live stream? But as they walk past my house now, I didn't realize it was a communal path at the bottom. There's nothing I can do about it now, Veronica. How are you? And how is Italy?
Italy's great. I think the more I travel, the more I just love our little corner of paradise. I love seeing, all the light shows around Europe. I think that's one of the beauties of living in Portugal and living by an airport. I'm between Seville and Faro Airport, so an hour to one, hour and 15 to the other. And you can just hop anywhere. I went to the Berlin Christmas markets one year. I'm here for the Christmas lights and Christmas markets. I'll be back next week, but it's so beautiful and it's just so easy to hop a flight and cheap. Ryanair, right?
Yeah, very good. And you're as soon as you go anywhere else, you realize how lucky you are to be living on this lovely coast where I am today.
Yes, because it's sunny. I think the thing I forgot, even growing up in California, is you have that inversion layer. So in the morning, you get these clouds that come in if you're by the beach, and they don't burn off until about noon. And then they come back in about 3. And it's funny because you spend all this money. I lived in Newport Beach, El Segundo, in San Luis Obispo, and you have these clouds that sit there and you pay a premium to be by the beach, and you go inland 4 or 5 miles and they're sunny. So this is a very ocean-centric, the whole heel of the boot, right? Because you've got 3 oceans, right? You've got the Ionic, the Adriatic, and it's another one. Anyway, so you do get a lot of this overcast, wet dampness, and you really don't get that in the Algarve. I really think it's one of the rare things in the Algarve, at least in the East Algarve. You're kind of central, right? You're in Carvaru.
Carvaru, yeah.
Sounds like kangaroo. Carvaru.
That's what I'll do. I'll stand on my step and shout that. See if any of the neighbours come back at me with that. No, it's very lovely and it's very different. It does feel so different to the Silver Coast, I have to say. The big difference in the Algarve, as it struck us last night, or me certainly, there is that sense of holiday expectation. Do you know the thing I mean? That something marvelous is about to happen because you're on holiday. The Algarve is all about that, I think, isn't it?
I think it depends on where you're at. So where I'm at in Villa Real de Santo Antonio, we only have two big hotels and one little boutique hotel. So you really don't have a lot of tourist type market where you would where you're at in Carvora with all the big hotels. And I mean, those bluffs are gorgeous with huge hotel chains and holiday homes. And so they better be on it. If you came all the way down there and spent your money and your tourist tax, then but that helps with things, if you come in and maybe you're at an all-inclusive, or you've gone to a hotel and you just spend the money and don't spend it somewhere else, it's not helping the community with like roads and extra traffic. Or Carvero has one of the best music shows that has like 30,000 people in it. I mean, that costs money, the extra staffing, and when you have hundreds and thousands of people descending every day, you've got to maintain the roads, and just the regular tax is meant to do schools and all that kind of stuff. So I do believe in the tourist tax. You're directly contributing to that community.
I'm seeing in action, Veronica. They're digging the road up outside, so the money is almost going directly from being paid at reception to being turned into infrastructure improvements outside. Yeah, absolutely. With thousands of people coming, of course they are an extra burden. But I guess they're spending money all over the place, aren't they? At every
Not
turn.
always. Not
No?
always. I found that a lot of them come in on the package tours. So if you look from the UK, the EasyJet, TUI, they pick them up in a bus. They've prepaid their full board. They stay at their resort and they spend pennies. You know what I mean? Or they just stay in that one little resort. Of course, the resort will get some money, but for these big, huge, conglomerates, they've taken the hotel cost down to almost nothing. So they've still got to change the bedding, linens, and because they're bringing in these huge bus loads, and you see them. I mean, they fly right off EasyJet, Ryanair, Jet2, you name it. And there's a big bus waiting. They take them straight to the hotel and they plop on the sand and barely leave.
That's such a beautiful image. And if you just put a little bit of sun cream on that blob on the beach and then pick it up in a week's time.
No, those are called tomatoes. They even put on the sunblock, and they haven't seen the sun in the year. They're coming down after a year, and they sit on that sunny beach all day, and they end up in the hospital with heat stroke.
Oh dear, this is that's not my.
Slow your roll. Little bit of sun every day.
That's not the lingering image I want of my trip to the Algarve. No, fair enough. It just occurred to me. You did that slightly affronted thing, No, hold on a minute. I live here. I'm not a tourist, and I am. I'm a tourist in the Algarve for these couple of days. Also, I've been to Puglia. It was so hot. I remember there. And be careful. There are mosquitoes the size of, I don't know, small dogs in it over there as well. They savaged me. And my legs looked like I'd stepped out of another time, like I was suffering from bubonic plague from the waist down. Presumably that's not such a bad thing this time of year. I don't know if you've been
I haven't seen any. And if there's one in a 30-mile radius, he will find me and tell all his friends, she's there, get her.
That's what happened to me.
Favorite
I was on a stag do with a load of guys, and actually I found myself in a shared room with some terrible snorers. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll go and sleep outside. Right? I took my sleeping bag outside.
That's never a good idea.
No, it's not, is it? And I think that mosquito you were talking about went and told his friends, and they all partied in my sleeping bag for the rest
They tell
of the
two
night.
friends, and they tell two friends.
It's like party time. Anyway. So what are you doing over there? What sort of attractions are there at Christmas time? Is it a special Christmas thing at the moment in southern Italy? That's it, is it?
Well, they are just all about the lights because it's a whole bunch of little hilltop towns, right? Kind of like Portugal. When you get away from the big cities, it's hilltop, and you go on the little roads between the hilltops. And I think I'm going to take off my background. I don't have a pure green screen, white screen, and I like your background, but I don't think I can think and do that. So there's all kinds of great. Let's see, visual Expat gives me 2 seconds. None. There we go. Okay.
There was some beautiful lighting at Alcázar do Sal. Do you ever stop off there when you're traveling up and down the country?
To where?
Alcázar do Sal. Do Sal. I'm
Is
just
that
trying
on
to
the
read.
beach?
No, it's a little. I'll show you a picture of it in just a moment, and you can see for yourself. It's a delightful little place. I guess for me, it would be halfway between Silver Coast and Deep Algarve. I'll bring a picture onto the screen of it.
And I think it's the same thing, when you're looking at Portugal, everyone thinks they're going to do a coastal route like you do a coastal route kind of in California, and you go all the way up, Highway 1 along, the beach in Big Sur. In Portugal, the road is away from the town. So you have to kind of pop in, then come back out, then go up and then pop in, go back out. So it's not like you can walk the coast, the why am I blanking on it? San Vincent, the trail, the Fisherman's Trail. And you can walk from the Algarve all the way up to Milfont and beyond. But that's the only real coastal type. And even if you want to see some of those beautiful places, you're going down dirt roads in your car. So I think we miss a lot of these cute communities.
It's true, isn't it? It's true. And my kids were saying we've seen everywhere in Portugal, and that kind of explains it in a way. They really haven't. We've barely scratched the surface, even all the time we've been here. But to really see it, you do have to get off the main roads, don't you? And you have to go, some way out of your way to really explore the biggest cities that are on the major routes. There's so much more to explore, but it takes a long time, and you have to really go off piste. The place I'm talking about, Alcázar do Sal, that was it last night. Beautiful sunset.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, they're about the illuminated buildings as well. That was a nice bit of Christmas lighting. Great effort yesterday, and that was their bridge with a lovely reflection in the water as well. It's very nice. No, I'll send you the name of the place. You might want to tour back through there at some point if you're coming up country. But yeah, back to Italy. So what's the attraction? Looks like you got a very nice apartment there, by the way.
Yeah, isn't this beautiful? It's
lovely,
2 bedrooms. It's an off summer rental, right? So during the summer it's packed. In the winter you can get these rentals just like they do in the Algarve. So what you might pay for a hotel for a week, you could get for a month here. So I'm paying $1,000 a month for 2 bedrooms, beautifully furnished. And then right next door is a Truly house. There's a swimming pool. There's an apartment next door to me. And this is all on one estate. So you have your clicker and the big, beautiful doors open, and the owners are up above. A lot of Dutch people here, just like in Italy, have retired here. So they have a 7% tax to repopulate a lot of these hilltop towns. So I think people it's sad because the Italians all come to Portugal for the NHR, which is now gone, right? So they all come here, and then they're like, we have to everyone's left. We have to repopulate these towns. If they would just give their locals the good tax rate. So then they're enticing the billionaires with a flat rate tax in the north, like, Lake Como and the fancy places. So they'll come there, and they used to just pay 100,000 flat rate tax a year. Now it's up to 300,000. So they're smart at enticing these, super wealthy people with that. But then they have a 7% flat rate if you come in like on a pension. Very similar to NHR. They want people to come spend money here, but they really need to repopulate these towns. The birth rate's going down. And well, this is a challenge for a lot of places, isn't it, in Europe at the moment, and these different tactics. Is it working, would you say? Oh yeah, absolutely. I've met a lot of people. I joined a few of the groups and Facebook groups, and there's a lot of young people coming here to work remotely, which is great for them too. So
it's good, isn't it? No, I enjoyed it. Nice little airport at Puglia as well, isn't it? And the town's very sweet as well.
Yeah, so Bari and Brindisi are the 2 airports, and so I positioned myself in the middle. Today I'm going to go down to Lecce for a few days. That's the Florence of the south. They're trying to market it as, and then Puglia they're marketing as the Tuscany because of the beautiful Etro Valley. And it's gorgeous here, but living versus visiting is always different, right?
Yes, quite incredible, and some interesting parallels there on how these southern European countries are organizing themselves for the future. Very interesting. Paul here. I'm not a tourist. I live in the Algarve. Look out to VRSA coming for the new year. Yeah, watch out for
Yay!
San Antonio. Paul's heading over there.
So Nikki D300, you're right. For the new year, they do a huge at Monte Gordo, which is the kind of the tourist town next to ours. We're not a tourist town, but if you go, 4 or 5 miles down the road, Monte Gordo is just tourists. And they put on a huge free fireworks show with big bands and the bands that do the fireworks during their show, even when it's not that time of year. Or now, are you staying down there? Because Albufeira also has one of the biggest fireworks shows in Europe.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, well, I'm not. We're going back again. We're going home before the end of the week. But yeah, just popping down for a couple of days. Not. We're not here for Christmas. We're not here for Christmas. Just a couple of days. Have a great time, Paul. Popping over to VRSA. Came up in a quiz actually, with the Marcus de Pombal. He made his presence felt, didn't he, in your town there?
Oh yes, he created our town. I mean, that was his.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
People always say that, Villarreal was wiped out during the earthquake. It didn't exist. It was a little tiny village called Arellana, and it had already been slated to be built. And then once it started getting built, it was built like super fast. It was prefab. Yeah. This stuff came down from Lisbon. And that is a crowning achievement of the Marquis de Pombal. It's beautiful. I think that's what made it
amazing character. Yes. When you've got a blank slate like that, I guess he kind of cut his teeth rebuilding Lisbon. It was Lisbon that was flattened and not VRSA. And then, a blank canvas and created a beautiful place on the Algarve. Alcácer do Sal is a lovely place, but the mudflats breed mosquitoes. My goodness, so don't go there, Veronica. Breed mosquitoes. Yeah, I did see the mudflats, the size of aircraft carriers. We were lucky then. Last night.
It's all timing.
Yeah, Carl Hyde saw it last night from the motorway. Apparently, he'll join us in a little while. Before he
saw the mosquitoes from the highway. Aircraft carriers.
Flying in formation, dive bombing the locals. Before Carl joins us, how has your year been? Then, how would you see it for yourself, for Portugal, and what are your hopes for the new year for 2026?
I think it's been a great year. I've really focused on tight, close friends, because in what you and I do, we end up with a lot of acquaintances. You go out and it's like boom, boom, boom. I've done a lot of travel. I've really enjoyed, I've been writing historical articles for the East Algarve magazine, some other publications about Templars and the towns. And it's amazing. Just like this show, it's like, oh no, another month, another deadline. It comes fast.
Yes.
But it's really, when you write for the resident, you have to dig in and really put your thoughts together and do extra research and, make it all flow. So your brain gets even bigger on those topics. What do they say? If you really want to learn something, teach it.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's easy for me because it's been, the premise of the column that I do for the resident is opinion. So I can just spout a load of personal nonsense.
Oh, that's but you still have to make it flow somewhat. Check your typos and Yeah,
it's true. But what I found is that it's become much more enjoyable to actually research something in a way that I just, I was avoiding that all my school life. Just wanted to do things as quickly as possible, and I just didn't like school. And so I associated with all that sort of stuff, the book research and putting things together and sourcing things. I just thought, I can't be bothered with that. Great, I can just have opinions. But the more I've scratched the surface and been a bit more thoughtful and considerate about it, the more joy it's become. And I really hear what you're saying there. There is a great sense of joy and discovery. And we've still got so much more to see and learn and experience here in this country, just in this country alone, right? By going on that journey. Yes, it's incredible. It's so rich. It's so rich in that sense. Okay, let's bring Carl on to join us, and we'll continue our conversation about looking back. A great year, you say, and obviously it's been an interesting one for the country. We'll have a new president in January, and things remain interesting in the world beyond, in so-called reality. So we will chat about all of that after we brought Carl on here. We must have passed on the motorway yesterday, Carl. Hello, mate.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Hello. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my screens. It's all a mess. There we go.
No worries, no worries. Here you are, joining us. So yeah, I drove down to the Algarve. I think Veronica heard, so she flew off to Italy. And you're at home, are you?
I'm at home now, yeah, but I was in the Algarve yesterday.
Were you? Wow, all roads lead. May I ask why? Was it on business?
Yeah, we've got a development down there called Springs at the Ells. So it's like I think 78 homes at the golf course down there, luxury properties. Very, very nice, fast moving project. 2, 3, and 4 bedroom homes right on the golf course. Lots of infrastructure there with it too, you know, clubs and all that kind of thing. So I could go into more detail on a separate show, but yeah, we flew down there, not flew literally, but flew down there yesterday morning, had a look around at the construction. It's going up quickly considering the size of it. Had a chat with the developer, went to see some of our people at the agency office in Villamora, which I've never been to before. It's very nice. And then went to the British supermarket, filled up on junk for Christmas.
You went to Tesco, didn't you?
It's called, I think it's called the Food Co.
That's right, yeah.
It's something. I've not had any HP sauce for a month now, so I stopped up.
Bless you.
So did the important things. Went and looked at a luxury development and then topped up on HP sauce. So I'm all good.
Do you know
now.
what? I saw Colin over the weekend. We were celebrating his birthday on Saturday night, and I think, and then I was at a dinner party with him on Sunday, and he said he went to the food company, the place you're talking about, where you can get all the British grub. And he said, I only went in for 3 boxes of tea bags, and it cost me €160. And people are like, what? Really? Tea bags are expensive? He said, no, it wasn't the tea bags. It was all the other things. By the time I got to the checkout and I bought chocolates for Christmas and this, that, and the other, €160 he spent in there.
No, that's it. And none of it's health food that I'm buying. I've got to be honest with you. Here's the thing, and this is what really winds my wife up. I'm buying English bread, so I'm buying Warburton's bread, Warburton's crumpets, because I guess the American equivalent would be like Wonder Bread. You know, it's just what I brought. So I still miss it. If I'm having a full English breakfast, then I want my English staples.
I think the brown sauce, HP sauce, is described as a superfood. So put plenty of that on, mate. I think it's the elixir of life or something. I read in the Daily Mail or something.
For the Americans, that's like our A1 sauce.
Yeah.
Except right. A1. I haven't tried that. Right. Okay. It's
almost
kind of puts hairs on your chest. It's got a little bit of how would you describe HP? It's kind of fruity and tangy. It's quite
vinegary, fruity, peppery, wonderful.
With the Houses of Parliament on the how did that happen? You know, it's not exactly a celebration of your love of British politics, I'm guessing, each time you eat it.
No, definitely not.
No.
I'm more on the Guy Fawkes side of things, to be honest with you.
yes.
But no, it's a special sauce. And you know what? All 3 kids love it. My wife hates it. She thinks it's as good as poison, you know, and thinks it spoils every meal. All of my kids love it, so I've indoctrinated them with the HP.
Well done, mate. A great legacy achievement there. The kids on HP. So, how has your nice mug? How's your 2025 been? Well, let's dwell a little bit on the year that we're in. Although I'm sure the rest of it, these last flipping 13 days of it, are just going to disappear as though it were like a few hours. But how has 25 been for you, Carl?
From a business point of view, it's been excellent. It's been my best year in real estate. It's year 4 for me in the business.
Well done.
Thank you. It does take a long time, you know, for anybody who's thinking about getting into real estate. It takes a long time to get up and running. There's a lot to learn. You're always learning. It doesn't stop, especially when the government keep changing the rules, which is, you're trying to stay one step ahead, and it's not possible. But it's for me personally, it's been a good year. I think for our business, the agency, it's been a good year. You know, I get to see the numbers internally, so lots of new business, more listings, more buyers. So for us, it's growth. I think for the market overall, it's been a little bit bumpy at times because we've had a lot of uncertainty this year with changes to visa rules and things like that. But overall, I'd say I'm pretty positive going into 2026. If we lead out from 2025 to 2026, then I'm optimistic. I know there's some new rules coming in that maybe seem like they don't benefit perhaps new international buyers. We've got this new flat rate EMT. I know Veronica mentioned that. It's not a positive, but there are more positives. There are going to be tax incentives, reduced VAT on new construction and things like that, which should make a significant difference to new home prices. I guess more in the medium term. I'm not going to see as much of the effect of that in 2026, I don't think, because that has to feed through the system. But I think there are a lot of positives. So, and you've got to work with what you've got ultimately. So, people are always going to want to buy homes, and we're there to help them do that.
Very good.
Well,
So
the
it sounds
thing
like
is,
it's
to your
for both of you.
point, I'm sorry.
Well, no, carry on, Veronica.
To your point that the year has still been great, I think what it is it filters out, when changes happen, it filters out the people that are iffy and the people who really want to be here and the people who are serious about it. It keeps those people in the pot. So maybe you're also not as scattered all over the place. The people who might get here and get very disenchanted with it are going to leave. They're going to find any little reason to leave. So the ones that are serious are going to stay. And it sticks with what we've said the whole year. If you want to buy, it's for you. Don't wait for the bubble to burst. Don't wait for this or that. If it suits you today and it works for you today, jump in today, because we don't know what the future is going to hold.
You can't really predict it. Yeah, that's it. A lot of people, it's human nature, if people they're spending a lot of money, especially if they're moving to a foreign country and they don't, even for people that have been here maybe on holiday 3 or 4 times and got a feel for it, you still don't really know the country. So if you're going to invest whatever amount, it could be 200,000, it could be 2 million. It's still a big decision. So if you've got uncertain, things in your mind that you're not sure about, then some people look for an excuse not to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, my advice would be happy. Yeah, just to check out what those rules are and how they're really going to affect you. I've got a lot of friends here that came from the US, and obviously, they're disappointed with the potential rule changes for the 5-year rule changing to a 10-year rule. But they're still staying. They're not like, well, that's it. I'm packing up and I'm going home. They weren't here just to get a passport. They're here for a whole bunch of reasons. A
residency is still a residency. You're still a resident of the EU, and in America, there is the bill out right now to make you renounce if you have double citizenship. So it doesn't even benefit them.
Yeah, that was some interesting news.
Sorry.
That was some interesting news. I mean, that just sounds like and another thing. It doesn't sound like it's got any real chance, does it? Isn't it just a little bit more sort of political posturing?
No, they're really. The bill is in, and now it's got to pass. Whether or not it passes, it depends on all the other junk they bolt on top of it. Unfortunately, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll vote for you if you pass this, or I get a new. Arkansas got a new visitor center. They signed all that junk. Yeah. So you never know. But they're talking about, if you don't renounce, if this passes, if you don't renounce your other citizenship. So in a case like me, I have German and American, that they'll just by default say you didn't take the time and renounce it, you lose your American citizenship, which then if you're talking pensions.
That's it's pretty brutal too. There's not many cases where I would approve of someone being stripped of the citizenship.
I don't suppose you ever thought you'd hear that in your lifetime, Veronica. No, going back though to what you were saying about where people are at and motivations. 2025 was the year of Portugal we've done on YouTube, wasn't it? It was like, oh my God, I waited 7.5 minutes for a coffee. I'm done with this place. that was 8 minutes. That's my absolute red line. Will not be treated like this. And people were just coming up with all this stuff, which I think was like a big sort of emotional outpouring, maybe projection, other traumatic responses and stuff. But I think you make a really important point. If you like it, if your soul is happy here, it's worth putting up with some of the external challenges, because it's compared to what all of this stuff is going on all over the world. And I think if you can find a kind of 80-20 balance where your heart and soul is basically, and your sense of well-being is in place here in Portugal, that's worth treasuring and building on, isn't it? Rather than focusing on the things that are a problem that might make me be going back to international living, thinking about what's the next place I'm going to go to. And I think that's where we're going to be in 2026. I think it's going to be a lot of looking within now, rather than, looking out, where do I go now? What's, the kind of shiny thing phenomenon. I think that's going to get harder and harder to do, actually. What are your thoughts on that, Veronica?
Well, so I think you touched on so many great points. And I think you are where you are, and you take that with you wherever you go, right? So what do I like? I'm the queen of shiny object. Look at me. I've got to check out every new town. I'm in Italy this week. I kind of get that 10-year itch, like, okay, well, now what, do I need to go rent by you guys up there in the north? What am I going to do? And then you go travel and you realize there's no place better in the whole world than, where the river meets the ocean for me. But then I think there's the people that are constantly focused on what's bad about everything. And yeah, people get together and you complain and this happened or this happened, and you find a solution. And there's people that are solution oriented, and there's those people, they just like to complain. And if that's all you want to do, stay home and complain, don't come here. And it was also the past few years were these bloggers that were completely irresponsible. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it. They got on for likes and hits, and they weren't honest. And anything that they could get people over here, or get more likes, or use clickbait, or whatever they were doing, it wasn't truthful. And that's why I love your show, because we come here and we're just honest, that you have to take an honest look at yourself and why you want to be here, and your goals and your why, and realize nothing's perfect in the world. But if you're here and you're happy here and you want to be here at least for a 10-year real estate cycle, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. I like I say, I think there's going to be a focus on that, and human beings will necessarily be, excuse me, will be minded or prompted to look more inside themselves for happiness, rather than the decades we've been through. It kind of started in the 80s, didn't it? 80s, 90s, sort of 2000. And when people, globalization, it was really cool, wasn't it, to have so much cheap air travel and to be able to go and check out everywhere. And
I wish it was the 90s again. I really do.
Why? God, why is that? Because of cheap air travel and that sweet spot of culture?
Yeah, just that's the time I was in high school. I left high school, got my first jobs and things like that, and I did do a lot of reminiscing these days about that time in my life. I know I'm 46, soon to be 47, and I feel it, and I think that was the best time for me. And I see videos on YouTube now where people were in like high school or something with an old camcorder or street views. I saw one yesterday actually of the first HD video in New York City by Sanyo or something. They had and it was in something like 92, and it just looked so awesome. Nobody had a phone, everyone just walking around, and I thought, oh, if I could just go back. But there you go, we can. So just a little,
everyone was just walking around. No, definitely feeling that.
Exactly.
All of this is in the mix at the moment, isn't it? So we're chatting away, and it's coming up to 9 o'clock. So let's get your thoughts for 2026 then. Portugal, real estate, personal, whatever you want to share, really. Ladies first. And actually, we when Carl joined us, I think you were talking about how your social scene had changed a little bit, Veronica. Consolidation of friendships and social life. That was interesting as well. I don't know if you want to weave that in.
I think it's really important. I think as bloggers, or those of us that are big extroverts, and you thrive and you get energy from the groups and the fun and being with other people. Sometimes you forget, you kind of self-sacrifice for, making sure everybody else is happy and making sure everybody else is come first and you're running around helping everybody that you kind of forget yourself sometimes. So this year I had some really great friends that helped remind me, you know what, they're adults, they can do that, let them fail, because sometimes failure helps you become who you are. But I hate to see people fail. It's like, there's a hole in front of you, don't fall in it, And of course, when we're talking fraud and issues in real estate where it's people's home, you have to, that's a responsibility. That's a stewardship. And then there's just people, if they're unhappy and they want to sit and whine and complain, going, okay, well, see you later. And so because our town is so small and I know so many people, I've made smaller group get-togethers, the people who actually care about me too, not just who I can introduce them to, or who, unfortunately, there's those people, they walk in and I'll sit at dinner and someone will walk by. We just had a nice dinner and it's outside. Someone walked by and literally just stopped and started talking to the group. And I had to learn, okay, I can say hello and then continue my conversation, because people walk by the whole time and you never get to chat with people in front of you. But this person stood there and said, who's that guy? Like they expect to be introduced to every single person they don't know. And so I'm learning to, okay, hi, if you want to make an appointment with me, great, call me and we'll sit and have some one-on-one time. So that's coming back into yourself and realizing the people that also care about you, not what you can give them. And it sounds so bad, but I kind of had to go, wow, I've had so many acquaintances that I'm not focused on my close friends. So I'm coming inside and focusing on close friends, close friend groups. And then I have a little group just for close friends. And other people have said, hey, we heard you have another group. And I'm like, oh, I actually had to say out loud, oh, that's just for very close friends, I know.
And you're not in it.
And I just feel awful. Who told them about it? Like, okay, which one of you guys is getting off the list because you told them I have a group?
Yeah, amazing.
But that sense of entitlement. I know you, therefore I have to know every single person you know. Or be invited there.
Very interesting. And strong boundaries then might be the boundaries, another continuing theme for 2026. Somebody was saying to me, because I get this sometimes in my WhatsApp groups, you'd be someone just says, where can I get a sausage or something like that? Yeah. And now I'm quite Portuguese about it. I'm like, hola, bom dia, tudo bem? And I don't answer the question. I just get them to be a bit more civil about, engaging. This is how we do it here. You've got to say hello or good afternoon or good morning first. And then someone else said to me, when someone's shared their soul in the group, and they've made a piece of art and they've shared it in the group, and then someone just completely ignores it and says, where can I get pigs in blankets this time? or like cranberries.
Me.
It's when that happens 10 minutes after somebody's posted something. So somebody puts something in, like a video or a picture or something, and then literally just minutes after, somebody posts something that's completely benign and has nothing to do with it. That happens a lot in groups. And I just think, could you not have given like an hour just to let other people absorb that and make a comment for their hard work? No, like you just said, where's the sausages? So.
Well, to that point, WhatsApp group, some people are just, oh, shoot, I need to ask the group something real quick. So they're not scrolling through. And sometimes in these groups, there's so much chatter that you need to be sat and go through each thing. So sometimes, it'll be hours before I check, and then I scroll up, and then I need 20 minutes to go through and comment on each one of these things. I think smaller is better.
I think we need some group etiquette lessons for some people. How to behave.
Well, that's the plan for 26 as well. Then how to thrive in WhatsApp groups.
I'll have to chat GPT to start some classes.
What else? What else then, Carl, for 2026 for you? More HP sauce, obviously.
I'll send you some.
I bought 6 bottles, so that should see me through for most of the year. So I'm well stocked.
Okay. Well, the advice from Paul is go to the one in Portimao, take a list and stick to it. It's like going to IKEA. It's not possible. It's not possible to stick.
It's when you go on the sweet aisle and you've got fruit salads and blackjacks and all these other things. Like, you know what? Yesterday I was just like, you know what? It's Christmas. Just throw it in the bag. Don't look when you go to the till. Just swipe that card and
move on.
That's what I did.
Yeah, or actually buy loads of sausages, then you're ready when that WhatsApp message comes out and you can sell them on at a profit. Just an idea. Just an idea. So yeah,
Well,
what
I
else
do have everything ready for a full English breakfast on Christmas
man.
morning. So that's a tradition. So I've got everything ready in the freezer, ready to go. So I'm looking forward
Very
to that.
good. Very, very good. And for the year ahead, more deals. Reach out to Carl, of course, if you're looking to buy in and around Lisbon, but of course connected to a network that can help you buy anywhere in Portugal and the world, in fact, with the agency. Any other dreams for 26, Carl?
Dreams for 26. I don't know.
Well, that time of year.
Getting the standard stuff. Get in shape, work better, work smarter, all those kind of things. I think that's what everybody does.
The first week of January.
Yeah,
I was very clear not to use the word resolution, mate. I wasn't going to do the kiss and death on it.
You know what? Just on, it's a bit of a side note, but on resolutions and things like that, I started to trying to drop a few pounds recently, and it was getting past summer, which is always a little bit hedonistic, and there's friends and family coming over and all this kind of stuff. And it was getting to the end of October, and I thought I really would like to focus on getting more in shape. I thought, well, January's just around the corner. And I thought, no, this is a trap you're going to fall into. You're going to wait until January to do it. And in between now and January, you're just going to live your best life. And it's going to be a lot worse on January the 1st. So I've got everybody calls everything a hack these days. So I started in October. I've started a lot of things in October, the changes that I want to make for 2026. Because I think there's nothing worse than waking up on the 1st of January and realizing the fun stopped, it's true, isn't it? You wake up and think, oh my God, I've got to actually do all this stuff that I've been promising myself for the past 3-4 months. So no resolutions for the new year, but definitely work a bit smarter. With regards to real estate, I am genuinely optimistic for the next year. We have had a good year at the agency. There are a lot of changes, but there's also some positive things as well. Mortgage rates are significantly lower than what they were a year ago, 18 months ago, probably like by about 1%, So these things do drive, buying activity and things like that. And I think they may even get a little bit lower in 2026. Obviously, not got a crystal ball. So
won't it be cool if you're right? Your social standing and commercial standing is going to go up. They're going to think you have got a crystal ball. So we'll check back in on that later next year.
Yeah, and I think that's it really. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot to take in, and it's not just in Portugal either. These things like we just touched on there, the thing in the US about dual nationality laws possibly changing. These things that we can't control. I mean, we can't control a lot of what happens in Portugal, let's be honest, but when it's happening in the US or anywhere else in the world, then we can't affect that. We just get on with our jobs and do what we can. People will still want to come here. Just touching again on what you said before about, these people who come here and get tired of it and the 80-20 thing. I found that the longer I stay here, the more I like it. I don't like everything about living here. Some things really, grind on me and kind of piss me off. But mostly, it's true though, isn't it? Mostly I look at it and think I could go back to England at any time. And I don't want to do that. I'm not even remotely tempted to do that. I like my life here. I like the country. And you do learn to adapt. All those things that can be minor grievances on a day-to-day thing, you kind of become a little bit Portuguese about it. And you think, well, this is just how it is. And it becomes normal. And you sort of change your mentality. And I think that's a good thing. That's it should be part of why you move away from where you are, whether that's the US, the UK, Germany, Australia, South Africa. You move because you want to experience new things. You don't want to just transplant what you had there, plonk it in the middle of Portugal. You want to try some new stuff. So be patient and it will come,
That is a mic drop. The big distinction there is like, not how can I make this place or any new life anywhere in the world yield to me and what I want, but how can I adapt and learn about myself? And that is definitely on offer here, isn't it?
And then complain about it in private,
And then complain about it, moan about it with people. I mean, that's quite Portuguese, isn't it? Because on the Expats Portugal webinar last Thursday, João Amaral from Rory's Cars, he was hilarious. I was talking to him about the year he's had, and he said, actually, it's been quite a good year for us and for the country, actually. And it's like, it was kind of realizing that he was saying some really good positive things. And he said, we do like to complain, the Portuguese. We love it. We love complaining. But actually, it's been quite a good year. And he was chuckling to himself. Like, I can't believe I've just said that. so positively. It is quite a positive thing. Quite a Portuguese thing to like have that glint in your eye whilst noticing things that aren't working, but still be, you know, like, oh, well, let's have a drink, let's have lunch, let's enjoy the sunshine. And that little glint of like, life's not so bad after all. That's not a bad little Portuguese characteristic to learn. Very, very cultural indeed. Thank you so much. A few more comments. Sorry to keep you, but it's been lovely chatting with you. Look, we sold almost everything, showed up in Lisbon with 2 suitcases.
Same here.
Felt great to purge all the crap. Now we have new crap.
Me too.
Yes, me too. Me too. I got new crap.
Isn't that great? Carl, you hit bang on the nail. We feel Portugal gives us, it's not 80-20, it's 85-15. Look at that. I thought you were going to say it's like, you know, it's 85-25. Not only are you finding a balance, but overall you'll get even more out of life, more than 100%. Would love nowhere else. You nailed it, Carl. Nowhere is perfect. There are so many positives here. Absolutely. It's all relative, isn't it? In many ways and certain parts of life. We also sold everything amazing. More crap there as well, quickly developing. Nesting, I think it can be called. Thank you very much, Veronica, Carl. Been lovely, you know, to have these monthly check-ins and chats and fun and you know, offer information to people, help people out, talk about life here in Portugal. So I really appreciate you both. Thank you so much for doing that, and wish you a great Christmas, friends, family, and a fabulous, wonderful 2026. Thank you so much to you both.
Thank you, Carl.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 2026.
We'll see you then. Thank you so much. And we'll see you again in the morning. Take care. Bye for now. Have a great day. Ciao, ciao.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need